Archangel Michael says, a quiet danger is weaving itself into your daily life, masked by the familiar walls and friendly faces you pass each day. You think your space is untouched, that your absence leaves nothing but silence behind. But the truth is darker, and it has been happening when you are not looking. Your home has been entered in moments you thought were safe, during hours you were convinced your door was protecting everything inside. Small traces remain, almost invisible unless you know where to look. This presence is not random, it is deliberate, precise, and calculated. The air inside your room holds a shadow of another's steps, the faint touch of hands that do not belong. The drawers you thought you left closed are slightly shifted, the curtains not exactly as you remember. These signs are whispers of someone's intrusion, testing your awareness. You have passed them in the hallway without suspecting, exchanged short greetings without knowing the depth of their trespass. They know your comings and goings, they know the sound of your keys, and they have timed their actions to slip into your absence. They are waiting for you to notice too late. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, you are being watched in ways that go beyond casual glances. Every time you step outside, a set of unseen eyes follows your routine. Their curiosity is not harmless, it feeds a motive that has nothing to do with kindness. They have a reason, one they carry like a secret weapon. They believe your guard is down, that you have no reason to suspect anyone in the same building. This illusion is what grants them the courage to keep doing it. When the sun sets, they replay your movements in their mind, plotting the next silent visit. They know which hours your absence is longest, and they slip in without leaving obvious marks. But their pattern is growing bolder, and soon it will cross into something you cannot ignore. The walls may look the same, but they hold the echo of a stranger's breathing. The locks you trust have already been tested, and the quiet hum of your own home now carries the weight of intrusion. You are not as alone as you think. Type Amen to get blessing 444. This is not about petty theft alone, it is about control, about the thrill of stepping into a life that is not theirs. They are learning you through your belongings, through the placement of your things, through the small details that reveal who you are. One day, you will find something slightly off, not broken, not stolen, but changed. That change will be the confirmation of what your instincts are whispering now. And when that happens, you will feel the cold realization that this has been happening longer than you imagined. They have tested your reactions in subtle ways, perhaps leaving something in view or shifting a single object to see if you notice. If you do not respond, they will see it as permission to go further. They have been waiting for your silence. But the silence is what they will no longer have. The moment you act, the power shifts, and the door they slip through becomes the last they will ever cross. Type Amen to get blessing 555. Archangel Michael says, your safety depends on what you do next. There is no room for hesitation, no space for second-guessing. Every day you delay gives them another opportunity to enter. They have mapped the pathways in your home, memorized the squeaks in your floor, the angle of your door, the timing of your lights. They know how to disappear before you return. Your belongings are not just possessions, they are now evidence. Evidence of where they've been, what they've touched, and how they've tried to remain unseen. They believe these acts vanish into the air once they leave, but the energy they leave behind is not erased. Soon, their confidence will lead to a mistake, and that mistake will reveal more than just their identity. It will expose their entire purpose. And when it does, the truth will not be gentle. Type Amen to get blessing 666. They are not a stranger from outside, they are close, too close. The familiarity of their presence is what makes them dangerous. You have heard their voice in casual greetings, seen them carry groceries, watched them close their own door. But behind that ordinary image is the shadow of someone who has crossed into a boundary no one should breach. They have convinced themselves that they can take without asking, enter without invitation, and leave without consequence. The illusion of safety in your own home is what they have shattered, and they know it. The moment you begin to feel uneasy, you are already touching the edge of their truth. It is not enough to suspect, action must follow. The line between suspicion and danger is paper-thin in this moment. Type Amen to get blessing 777. The air inside your home has absorbed the quiet weight of their presence. There are fingerprints you cannot see but can feel in the way certain items no longer rest exactly where you left them. The more you notice these small changes, the more the truth sharpens in your mind. They have stepped across your threshold more than once, and each time they stay a little longer. Their movements are practiced, like someone rehearsing for a performance they have perfected in secret. What they want is more than just objects, it's access to a part of you that should never be touched. The lock you turn every night is no longer the barrier you believe it to be. They have found a way to slip past it, to leave no trace of tampering, to make it seem as though nothing happened. And yet, the silence in the air is heavier than before. Every day you spend away gives them another chapter to write in your absence. Every step they take inside your space is one step deeper into the truth you will eventually have to confront. They are not finished, not until you decide to stop them. Type Amen to get blessing 888. Archangel Michael says, the danger is not in what they take, but in what they learn. Every corner of your home tells them something about you, your habits, your preferences, your vulnerabilities. These pieces form a picture only they are meant to see. This knowledge is their real prize. They collect it carefully, tucking away each detail for a reason they have not yet revealed. They think they are ahead of you, that you are still in the dark. But your awareness is beginning to grow sharper, and that is the one thing they did not account for. Once your eyes open fully to what is happening, you will see every move they make before they make it. And when that happens, their shadow will no longer have a place to hide. Type Amen to get blessing 999. They move with the precision of someone who knows they cannot afford to be caught. Their steps are soft, measured, designed to disappear in the echo of time. Yet every entry leaves behind an energy, an invisible mark that lingers in your space. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the faint shift of air when they pass through a room. They do not rush, they savor the act of being somewhere they should never be. This is their secret victory, being inside your world without permission. You have walked back into your home after their visits without realizing it. You've sat in the same chair they may have stood beside, touched the same surfaces they have brushed against. It is a quiet violation, one that seeps into your bones slowly. The truth is waiting for you to name it out loud. And when you do, the game they have been playing will end abruptly. But until that moment, they will keep returning, confident in their invisibility. Type Amen to get blessing 222. Archangel Michael says, every person in your building now carries a shadow of suspicion. This is not paranoia, it is the reality of what is unfolding. The line between neighbor and intruder has blurred beyond comfort. Their face is one you have already seen, their footsteps ones you have already heard. They have spoken to you as if nothing is wrong, as if they have no interest in what lies beyond your door. This false normalcy is part of their disguise. They have studied the rhythm of your life so well they can predict your return. It is this knowledge that gives them the confidence to keep coming back. But they do not realize that the moment you shift your routine, you can break their pattern. You hold the power to disrupt their access. All it takes is one move they do not expect, one presence they cannot plan for. And then the space they invade will no longer be theirs to enter. Type Amen to get blessing 555. Their confidence grows with each silent entry, believing you are still blind to their movements. But every shadow eventually meets the light, and their time of slipping unseen is nearing its end. They will soon learn that the space they treat as theirs is a sanctuary they were never invited to. You have begun to notice the shift in your home's atmosphere. The stillness you once enjoyed now carries a tension that cannot be ignored. It is as though the walls themselves are holding back a secret. The door you lock every morning feels less secure than it once did. That simple click no longer carries the comfort it used to. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you know they have already bypassed it more than once. Each return home feels like a test, your eyes scanning for signs of disturbance, your instincts whispering for you to look closer. They are not gone, only waiting for your absence again. And until you confront them, the cycle will continue. Type Amen to get blessing 111. Archangel Michael says, the danger is growing bolder. They have moved beyond just observing and are now touching the core of your private life. This is no longer a matter of curiosity. It is an intrusion with intent. The time of subtle shifts will soon give way to something more obvious. They may begin leaving behind traces they know you will see, testing your reaction, pushing the limits of how far they can go before you act. They are measuring your silence. They are not acting in haste. Every visit is part of a carefully designed pattern, a sequence of actions they believe will keep them from exposure. But patterns can be broken, and when they are, the truth spills out quickly. You have the choice to remain still or to force the change they do not expect. One move from you could make their entire plan collapse. And in that collapse, they will have no way to hide. Type Amen to get blessing 432. You may have already felt their presence without realizing it. A faint shift of the air, an object out of place, a scent that does not belong. These are the quiet confessions of someone who thinks you will never notice. But you are noticing now. You are connecting the pieces in ways that will lead you straight to the truth. That truth will be the undoing of their false confidence. Every neighbor is now a potential suspect, but the real one has already looked you in the eye. They hide behind friendly exchanges, casual nods, and the shared familiarity of living under the same roof. They believe this camouflage is perfect. They are wrong. The moment you start watching them as closely as they watch you, the balance shifts entirely. And once it shifts, there is no going back. Type Amen to get blessing 274. Archangel Michael says, this intrusion is not random, it is personal. They have chosen you for a reason, one tied to what they think they can gain. Whether it's knowledge, possession, or control, they believe your space is theirs to claim. They have crossed the line so many times they no longer feel it exists. What began as cautious steps has now turned into deliberate trespass. They are no longer just entering. They are embedding themselves into the rhythm of your life. It is not just your home they want to invade, it is the safety you feel inside it. That safety is what they are trying to dismantle, piece by piece, without you realizing until it's too late. But the moment you take back control, that safety will return stronger than before. You are not powerless here. Your awareness is the one thing they cannot erase, and it will be the force that exposes them completely. Type Amen to get blessing 681. Their footsteps have already mapped your floors. They know the creak near the hallway, the way the bathroom door sticks slightly before it closes, and the faint hum of your refrigerator at night. These are details only someone who has lingered inside could know. Every time you leave, they see an open invitation. Not in words, not in action, but in their twisted perception that absence means permission. And with each silent visit, they push the limits of what they can do before being caught. They have likely been inside for longer stretches than you imagine. What begins as 5 minutes can easily become 15, then 30, then an hour. In that time, they are not simply wandering, they are learning. You are being studied in ways that go beyond observation. Your habits, your comfort zones, and your blind spots are all becoming part of their private archive. They think this makes them powerful. Type Amen to get blessing 729. Archangel Michael says, their false sense of safety will be their undoing. The moment they believe you will never act is the moment they will make a mistake too big to hide. And that mistake will be the thread that unravels everything. They believe the locks are their only obstacle, but your mind is far more dangerous to them. Once you connect the truth, you will see them for what they are, someone who hides behind familiarity to commit violation. They do not understand the danger of underestimating you. They expect fear, hesitation, or denial. What they will face instead is a prepared and alert presence. And when you shift into that state of readiness, they will no longer walk through your door unnoticed. They will know the hunt has turned toward them. Type Amen to get blessing 844. They have not just crossed a line, they have erased it in their own mind. Each time they enter, they feel more entitled to your space. This entitlement is what makes them dangerous. They may leave behind something unintentional, a faint mark, a misaligned object, a trace of themselves they cannot see. These small mistakes are your evidence. They are your silent allies in revealing the truth. It is important to remember that their confidence is built on your unawareness. Once that shifts, the entire dynamic changes. They can no longer hide behind the comfort of your ignorance. You are stepping into a phase where every detail matters. Each observation brings you closer to exposing the one who walks in your absence. Type Amen to get blessing 903. Archangel Michael says, their eyes have already wandered too far into your life. They have seen things they were never meant to see, touched things that should have been beyond their reach. This is no longer a simple trespass, it is an attack on your right to safety. Their pattern is precise, but your awareness is becoming sharper. You are learning the signs, the subtle cues that betray their presence. Those signs are the beginning of their downfall. They think you will react only when something obvious is missing. They do not realize that your attention has moved beyond the obvious. You are now reading the silence as clearly as the noise. And in that silence, you will catch them. Type Amen to get blessing 615. Their presence is not random, it is intentional and calculated. They move with a rhythm that blends into the stillness of your home. This is how they have gone undetected for so long. They know which areas to touch and which to avoid. They understand how to leave without a sound, how to return things in a way that almost matches your memory. Almost, because perfection is hard to imitate, and small differences always remain. Those differences are starting to form a pattern in your mind. A chair angled slightly differently, a cupboard not fully closed, an item placed just an inch away from its original spot. Each of these moments is a quiet alarm. The more these alarms ring, the more your instincts awaken. And once awakened, they will not sleep again until you know exactly who is doing this. Type Amen to get blessing 741. Archangel Michael says, their time of invisibility is ending. You may not yet see their face in the act, but you are beginning to feel their energy every time you walk through your door. That is the first sign of their power slipping. The familiarity they hide behind will become their trap. They have been too close for too long, and proximity breeds recognition. Eventually, the small details in their manner will match the ones you've observed in your home. This will not come with a dramatic reveal, it will be a slow realization that settles over you. And when it does, you will not unsee it. That truth will guide your every move until you take action. Type Amen to get blessing 862. They have convinced themselves they are in control. But control is fragile when built on lies. All it takes is one wrong step for the entire illusion to collapse. Perhaps they will linger a moment too long, forgetting the exact timing of your return. Perhaps they will move something they cannot put back exactly right. These are the cracks where their secret will leak through. You do not need to confront them immediately to reclaim your space. Sometimes, awareness is the first weapon, and patience sharpens it. They will notice the shift in you before you speak a word. That shift will unsettle them more than any accusation could. They will begin to fear what you might already know. Type Amen to get blessing 954. Archangel Michael says, the walls of your home are watching as much as you are. Energy remembers, even when eyes are not present. Every movement they make leaves an invisible signature in the air. The air feels heavier in certain spots, doesn't it? That is not your imagination, it is the residue of someone else's presence. Your space knows the truth, and now you are learning to read it. They cannot erase the feeling they leave behind. The more they come, the stronger it becomes. Soon, it will be impossible for them to pass through without you knowing instantly. And in that moment, the power will return to you. Type Amen to get blessing 377. They have memorized the small details of your life. The way you arrange your belongings, the sound of your door closing, even the scent of the room when you leave. These are not just observations, they are their way of claiming familiarity with what is yours. Each time they step inside, they cross a line that cannot be uncrossed. It started as short, careful intrusions, but their confidence has grown. They now move as though the space belongs to them. Your absence has become their opportunity. They treat it like an open invitation, slipping into your home with the ease of someone returning to their own. That illusion is the very thing you will break. When you take back control, their comfort will turn into fear. And once fear settles in, they will no longer dare to return. Type Amen to get blessing 492. Archangel Michael says, they are closer than you think. This is not a distant stranger, it is someone whose face you have already seen, whose presence you have already felt. The trust you once had in your surroundings has been quietly violated. They take pride in not being caught. In their mind, each successful entry is proof of their cleverness. But cleverness fades when it meets determination. You are now more aware than they realize. You have begun to move differently, think differently, and watch differently. These shifts are the beginning of their end. When the time comes, your knowledge will be the weapon they cannot avoid. Type Amen to get blessing 816. The air in your home carries their ghost long after they leave. You may not see them, but the energy remains heavy, clinging to corners and objects they touched. This is the unseen evidence of their intrusion. The more you tune in, the more you will notice it. It lingers strongest in the places they have stayed the longest. Sometimes you will feel it before you even step fully inside. They do not know you can sense them now. They believe their mask is still perfect. But even the best disguise cracks when the light hits it directly. And your awareness is becoming that light. Type Amen to get blessing 295. Archangel Michael says, they are about to overstep. Their actions have been careful so far, but greed is a dangerous companion. The moment they want more is the moment they will leave behind something undeniable. It could be a misplaced object, a forgotten item of theirs, or a sound you catch in real time. That slip will shatter the invisibility they've been hiding behind. You will not need to look far for proof. When it happens, the truth will be so clear that denial will no longer be possible. That will be the turning point where the hunter becomes the hunted. And from that moment on, your home will belong only to you again. Type Amen to get blessing 603. They have watched the rise and fall of your lights through the peep of a chain gap. They have measured the quiet minutes between your footsteps and the elevator's return. They have carved a path of familiarity through a boundary that was never theirs. The floor remembers their weight even when your eyes do not. The fibers of your rug hold a subtle trail that does not match your stride. The air turns slightly metallic where their fingers paused too long. This is not an accident of proximity. This is a habit that hardened into boldness. This is a trespass dressed in the clothes of routine. They began by testing the lock, then testing your memory, then testing your courage. They have taken something invisible each time, your ease, your stillness, your unquestioned trust in your door. They now believe you will choose comfort instead of action. Type Amen to get blessing 718. Archangel Michael says, your inner alarm is the first guardian to awaken. It rings quietly at the edge of your thoughts, asking nothing from you except attention. It guides your eyes to the places where their shadow lingers. You feel pulled to certain corners for a reason. Your hands hover over objects they touched because your spirit knows the difference. Your breath catches in rooms where they stood too long. The pattern emerges like a watermark under heat. The longer you look, the clearer it is. Their secrecy is dissolving under the light of your focus. They are beginning to sense that the house no longer receives them. The doorway that once felt permissive now pulses with warning. They do not yet understand that your awareness has changed everything. Type Amen to get blessing 364. A plan is writing itself in you without noise. You move one object deliberately and catalog its resting place. You close a drawer with exactness and memorize the angle. You walk your space like a patient cartographer. You mark what they might touch first and what they will touch last. You note how the curtain sighs when the window even thinks about opening. Your routine shifts by a breath. You leave at a different minute, return at a different hour, and linger in the hallway long enough to change their clock. You become the interruption they did not forecast. The building hums with the ordinary, but you have stepped outside the rhythm. Your presence is now the unknown variable. Their confidence loosens around the edges. Type Amen to get blessing 508. Archangel Michael says, their boldest step will be their most foolish. They will return expecting the same stillness and find a different current moving through your home. They will search for what they used to control and find only their own reflection. They are tuned to your absence, not your presence. When you stand suddenly where they plan to stand, the entire scheme collapses. Their map is useless the moment you become the landmark. You will not need to raise your voice to change the ending. The silence you hold will be enough to expose them. They are not prepared for a silence that sees. In that stillness, their hands will tremble over what they cannot claim. Their breath will betray the fear they have kept buried under routine. Their exit will not be graceful. Type Amen to get blessing 927. Their story is small beneath the size of your boundary. They entered because they believed your door belonged to the building more than to you. They forgot that presence carries ownership no lock can replace. They dressed their trespass in the uniform of normal life. They used politeness as a mask and neighborly timing as a key. They thought the shared stairwell would shelter their audacity forever. But the hall has started to echo differently. Floors carry messages to those who listen. Your steps now answer with a clarity they cannot bear. Each return of yours shortens their leash. Each measured glance from you tightens the circle. They feel the temperature of consequence rising against their skin. Type Amen to get blessing 146. Archangel Michael says, gather your calm like armor. Move room to room with the authority of the rightful. Touch what is yours and let the room remember you. Restore one object to its perfect position and let memory seal it there. Fold a towel with an edge only you would choose. Align a frame until the corner smiles the way it did before. You are rebuilding the truth of the room in layers. The space responds, growing steadier around your movements. The energy that felt crowded exhales and returns to shape. Your home is learning to say your name without fear again. The sound becomes a quiet bell inside the walls. That bell will not welcome anyone else. Type Amen to get blessing 381. The intruder is restless at the threshold of change. They stand in the corridor and feel the shift like static. They sense that a door which once forgave now remembers. They think about turning the handle and do not. They think about waiting longer and cannot. Their plan has begun to starve for lack of your unawareness. They try to conjure the old ease and find only resistance. The key in their pocket feels heavier than it used to. The floor outside your door has lost its permission. They walk away a few steps and then return, pretending to check their phone. The hall refuses the performance. The building no longer applauds their act. Type Amen to get blessing 642. Archangel Michael says, the moment of exposure arrives quietly. It does not announce itself with chaos. It starts with a wobble in their certainty. A light they expect to be off is on. A scent they expect to find is gone. A shadow that would hide them holds no cover. They step in anyway, pulled by habit stronger than wisdom. Their old route betrays them at the second turn. Their eyes meet a detail you altered with intention. They understand, too late, that they have been seen without being watched. Their courage drains to the floor they abused. Their certainty breaks where your boundary stands whole. Type Amen to get blessing 713. Your breath stays even because you prepared for this hour. You do not rush the final truth. You let it unfold with gravity. You move with purpose through the rooms you restored. You confirm what matters without feeding panic. You remind the house that it belongs to you. The intruder's last footprint does not settle right. It skids against a threshold that refuses it. It smears under the pressure of your claim. They retreat without trophy or thrill. They carry away only the weight of being unwelcome. That weight follows them down every stair. Type Amen to get blessing 836. Archangel Michael says, what they took must be named so it can be returned. They took ease, and you rebuild it with ritual. They took safety, and you re-anchor it with awareness. You rethread the lock with patience. You seal the window with intent. You teach the door to close with a finality that sings. Your rooms relearn your rhythm and keep it. The bed holds your rest like a promise. The kitchen lifts its quiet warmth to meet you in the morning. The building hears a boundary it cannot ignore. The hall respects what the wall declares. The elevator obeys the truth of where it stops. Type Amen to get blessing 974. The person who entered your home now avoids your eyes. Their steps shorten when they hear yours. Their keys jangle with a nervous echo in the stairwell. Their smile no longer fits their face. The disguise they wore, made of casual hellos, crumples at the edges. They feel watched by a conscience they tried to outrun. They are a guest to consequence now. They carry the memory of your threshold like a warning label. They cannot unlearn what refusal feels like. Their belief in easy access has died. Their craving for control has no door left to feed on. Their hunger meets a lock that is more than metal. Type Amen to get blessing 208. Archangel Michael says, your home stands taller because you stood tall. The rooms hold your voice even when you do not speak. The light falls in a way that protects. You walk through each space with unhurried authority. You adjust what needs adjusting and leave what is settled. You let the house know that the waiting is over. The fear that hovered like fog thins and lifts. The corners stop swallowing quiet. The center of the room returns to you fully. You have rewritten the script that was being performed without your consent. The actor who trespassed has no stage left. The audience has gone home. Type Amen to get blessing 469. A final image remains for the one who crossed your line. It is not your anger or your shout. It is the unshakable silence of ownership. They remember the stillness that did not move for them. They remember the door that did not feel like theirs. They remember the air that would not let them breathe easy. They understand that the house belongs to the name it speaks. They hear that name even now, and it is not theirs. They will not forget the sound. You rest in the truth that protected you the moment you claimed it. Your boundary stands where it should, bright and unbending. Your life continues without their shadow. Type Amen to get blessing 531. Archangel Michael says, keep your rituals steady and your peace louder than their memory. Touch the door each morning with intention and each night with gratitude. Let the lock click like a bell that blesses your return. Place one token of protection where the room welcomes you first. Place one sign of closure where the room fell quiet last. Place your name softly over every threshold inside. Your presence is the covenant the walls keep. Your steps are the law the floor obeys. Your breath writes the atmosphere into safety each day. What was broken has been bound. What was shaken has been set. What was stolen has been restored, greater than before. Type Amen to get blessing 782. The building will continue to breathe its ordinary breath. People will pass and carry their own stories. Doors will open and close in the rhythm of common life. But your door holds a different music now. It does not play for the uninvited. It does not listen to the wrong key. Your rooms no longer echo with foreign steps. Your chairs no longer tilt toward an unseen presence. Your windows no longer lean toward compromise. The quiet you keep is not fragile. It is a fortress spoken in calm. It is a promise that belongs to your name. Type Amen to get blessing 419. Archangel Michael says, should the shadow circle again, it will find light it cannot endure. It will find a space too claimed to be borrowed. It will find a truth with no edges to pry. Your awareness remains awake without being afraid. Your habits remain strong without becoming rigid. Your spirit remains open without being unguarded. You are not defined by what came against you. You are defined by what stood for you. You are defined by the boundary that rose when it was needed. The story ends where your ownership begins. The page turns and leaves no room for their return. The chapter closes around your peace. Type Amen to get blessing 257.